Sailing is on the horizon, and today I want to talk about how... Wait, do you hear this music?
This being the golden age of OSRS.
I think Runescape is in a golden age right now.
Old school Runescape is the only classic MMO that has entered its golden age after already having its golden age back in the day. We see remakes and re-releases of old games all the time. Nostalgia is a strong driver for us picking up and enjoying these games again. There has been plenty of debate around this, but most agree that nostalgia played a big part in bringing the old school version of RuneScape back to life. But it's not the reason we are playing it today, not alone. There is one more ingredient. Settled recently released a video on the newest Varlamore update titled "This is the golden age of RuneScape." And it's not the first time I've heard that sentence. Whether it's on Reddit or in long conversations on the Saybay-cast, the topic of a new golden age is everywhere. The growing presence of WoW streamers joining old school, a sea shanty remix being played at Tomorrowland, or even the RuneScape rave at DEF CON 1. All of it is turning a nostalgic game into something that feels cool and relevant again. RuneScape's resurgence almost reminds me of the early days of World of Warcraft, when TV ads featured celebrities and news stories covered teens getting too immersed in the game. RuneScape has entered mainstream media to some extent. Of course, OSRS doesn't reach quite that level of cultural relevance, and maybe that's a good thing. Jagex' big success has been the story of slow growth, an invisible but impactful balancing act, one that constantly asks, should this be added, and is this truly old school? Today I want to explore how that balance between nostalgia and innovation secured old school RuneScape's position as the only classic MMO living through its golden age. Developing a classic MMO means walking the tightrope between two pillars, nostalgia and innovation. Nostalgia brings us back. It makes us feel something familiar. Doing Cook's Assistant for the 10th time. It's not exciting, but it's comforting. It reminds you of a simpler time, and that feeling of belonging is powerful. I actually made a video recently, a slow nostalgic journey through RuneScape. It's perfect for falling asleep to. The link is in the description below. Nostalgia doesn't just apply to games, it's a way to hold onto a worldview that feels stable and safe. RuneScape works in a similar way. It grows cautiously, it doesn't rush, and by that it earns your trust. But nostalgia isn't enough. There has to be a driver that moves things forward. Innovation. Back in 2013, when OSRS re-released, players were terrified of change. There was a real fear that Jagex might ruin the game again, like they did with the evolution of combat. So the polling system was introduced. It wasn't just a feature, it was a sign of peace. That polling system turned OSRS into a democracy. Not every update passed, not every idea worked, but it gave Jagex a live pulse on how much innovation was tolerable and how much nostalgia needed preserving. This steady approach gave Jagex the confidence to go bigger. We wouldn't have expansions like Varlamore or Sailing if it weren't for earlier smaller updates like POH upgrades, agility shortcuts or new quests. If you are enjoying the video and you want to see more in the future, it would really mean the world to me and this capybara if you hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot, and now back to the video. Not every update succeeded. Deadman mode was reworked again and again, often ending in controversy. Rune's powers faced backlash. Group Ironman launched as a mess. But the important part? Jagex stood back up, iterated, and either improved or scrapped what didn't work. That's what builds trust. The spirit of old school RuneScape was never written down. It's not found in a design doc. It's a feeling, it's a vibe. and often innovation and nostalgia intertwine. Many updates don't recreate the past, they recreate how the past felt. Take Nightmare Zone for example. Introduced after OSRS launched, it let you fight quest bosses from your childhood in a dopamine-heavy, AFK-friendly arena. It was innovation, packaged in a nostalgic wrapper. Or let's take one of my favorite updates, OSRS on mobile. You're not playing on the family PC anymore, you're on your phone, maybe fishing while watching TV, but the activities are the same, the feeling is the same, it just fits your adult life better now. Even small changes mattered. Middle mouse camera movement wasn't in 2007 Runescape, but it made PvM and PvP smoother, and yet it still felt old school. But not every update was able to catch that feeling. Innovation can be a slippery slope, and here is why. There are updates you cannot easily walk back from once they are there. Take clue scrolls for example. Around a year ago, Jagex fundamentally changed how we interact with them. Clues used to disappear after 3 minutes if dropped, forcing players to either deal with them immediately or carry them around. Some high-efficiency players or content creators like Settled and Swarmbletics turned this into a strategy known as clue juggling, farming and dropping multiple clues to stack up enough to complete it within one area like Mauritania. It was never intended for the average player, and it wasn't popular outside of content creators, but Jagex decided to increase the despawn timer to 1 hour, making clue juggling viable for the average player. And by that, suddenly, it felt mandatory. Clues became a chore. I remember in the early days of my Ironman doing jelly task in the wilderness with Ice Barrage, racking up 5 to 10 clues per task, while using an imbued ring of wealth, dropping them, going back, doing them one by one. It killed the enjoyment. And even the team at Jagex recognized the issue, but it was too late to walk it back. The recent addition of stackable clues felt more like a bandage than a fix. Clues just don't feel good right now, but that's a topic for another time. It's still better than juggling them one by one. And that is the risk with quality of life changes, especially ones that increase efficiency. Once people get used to them, there is no going back. It's a slippery slope. The same thing happened in World of Warcraft. Back in Wrath of the Lich King, Blizzard introduced the Dungeon Finder, a tool that automated group forming and teleported players directly into dungeons. It saved time, but it destroyed immersion and the social dynamics that made MMOs special. And yet, once it was in, there was no taking it out. You have to be very aware of which features you can walk back from and which ones, once added, open Pandora's box. World of Warcraft did these kinds of updates all the time, which is a big reason for its slow downfall. While Jagex tested the water, and over time they developed a good grasp of what OSRS really is. Varlamore kept the old school charm, while innovating on progression systems, storytelling and environment design. But one important aspect we can't forget, innovation didn't just come from Jagex. Content creators pushed the envelope too, from locking yourself in Mauritania for 5,000 hours to turning a reality show format into the best RuneScape series ever made. The community has kept innovation alive. And here it gets a little bit personal. I started playing Ironman a year ago, and I didn't expect it to change how I felt about the game. But it did. Suddenly every piece of gear mattered. Every quest was a milestone. I was rediscovering content I hadn't touched in years, and somehow it felt brand new. I'm closing in on 2k total level. I got a few quests left for my first ever quest cape, and I'm learning bosses and content I've never touched before. It wasn't how I played in 2005, but the feeling of discovery is the same, and that's what matters. For the first time ever, I bought a yearly subscription plan because I grew confident in Jagex steering the game in the right direction. And with every new update, every shift in meta, and every new BIS item, the question remains, does this still feel old school? For every player, the answer might be different, but the polling system, the community, Jagac's steady hands have kept the balance alive. We are still up, we are still innovating, and we are still nostalgic for the game. And we might truly have entered the golden age of RuneScape.